Hello everyone and welcome to Yorktown High School, where the Yorktown Community Pool is hosting the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference Swim and Dive Competition, and we are underway in the individual events. My name is Michael Shea, and I'll be bringing you the individual events tonight, covering all the action. I have to start off with an apology. We're having some technical issues with our cameras. We do have 5 cameras here. We're also covering the dive competition that's going on at this point at the same time. And we have been unable to get our, we're having some issues with our camera that is covering the pool. You're looking at our finish line camera, and Josh Hicks from St. Mary's Ryken. You just saw him make his turn. We're in the 200-yard boys freestyle. There were originally more swimmers in this heat. This is the first heat of the event. But because of some scratches at the last minute, Josh Hicks has the pool to himself, which can be one of the tougher things for any swimmer to have to do. And now you see him making another turn. That's Josh Hicks, swimming in lane 3 for St. Mary's Ryken. You probably never want to be in a heat by yourself. It can be hard to push yourself when you're only swimming against yourself. And there's Hicks moving along, but he seems to be doing a good job. As I mentioned, this is the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference Swim and Dive Championship. We're covering the individual events in this video. We have 9 schools here competing on the boys' side, and we've got 9 schools competing on the girls' side. As we move through the events, we'll be rotating. We'll have the boys' events followed by the girls' events. For each event, all the heats are final heats. So we'll probably have between about 3 or 4 heats for each event. On the boys' side, we've got 9 schools here competing, along with St. Mary's Ryken, who is in the pool now, represented by Josh Hicks. Bishop McNamara, Bishop Ireton, DeMatha, Bishop O'Connell, Paul VI, and that's Josh Hicks is now finished. He puts a time of 2:30.25 up on the board, and that's the first heat. So we'll get into that second heat now. And as I was mentioning, the competition with the boys teams also have Paul VI, St. John's College, Our Lady of Good Counsel, and Gonzaga College High School to round out the 9 high schools competing on the boys' side. And there you see our lineup for the second heat. And again, we're having those same technical issues with getting the camera full coverage of the pool, but we're working on it. And in the second heat, Andrew Beckman from St. Mary's Ryken swimming in lane 1. Cortland Daverine from Bishop McNamara swimming in lane 2. Ryan Krusevich from DeMatha swimming in lane 3. Timothy Wazel from St. John's College is in lane 4. And then also from DeMatha in lane 5, Rylan Crosby. Lane 6 has Chase Foley from Bishop Ireton. And lane 7, the lane nearest the camera, has Devin Posey from St. Mary's Ryken. Probably get a sense of the pool deck. It is somewhat crowded here at the Yorktown Pool. Not only do we have actually a total of 11 high schools here to compete, we've obviously got both the boys and the girls teams here. And typically a WCAC swim team is a pretty large team. A lot of swimmers, a lot of student athletes at each of these high schools. So the pool deck fills up pretty fast at one of these events. And swimming in lane 4, Timothy Wazzle from St. John's College. At this point, a comfortable lead as he gets into his last lengths in the 200-yard freestyle. Ryland Crosby from DeMatha doing well in second place. And it's a little bit more of a race right now for the third place finish in this heat. And so Timothy Wazzle from St. John's College takes the heat, posting a time of 2:12.21. Ryland Crosby from DeMatha firmly in second place at 2:19.91. And Chase Foley from Bishop Ireton has made a claim and on third place. And the last few swimmers will come in now. So off to a good start there. You see the results from Heat 2 of the boys' 200-yard freestyle. And now we're on to Heat 3. And we'll give you the lineup in Heat 3 with the lane assignments. All 8 lanes are in use. Nathan Braun from DeMatha in lane 1. John Alexander from Bishop McNamara swimming in lane 2. Nick Keeler from Our Lady of Good Counsel is in lane 3. Connor Burke from Gonzaga swimming in lane 4. Gavin Weltendorf is from PVI and he's swimming in lane 5. Ryan Owen, also from PVI, is swimming in lane 6. And then from Bishop O'Connell, John Sullivan, a sophomore, swimming in lane 7, and his teammate, a freshman, Sam Donovan, also from Bishop O'Connell, is swimming in lane 8, the lane nearest the camera. And again, I do want to express my apologies to the swimmers and the fans. We're trying to get our cameras working in full speed. We have a very tight race right here. The first 4 positions in this heat at this point in the race, very hotly contested. You can see very little difference between the top 4 places as they make their way down the pool again. And as we get to about the halfway point of this heat, it's still very tight. So in terms of the top 3 positions in this heat, it's really up a lot of contenders right now. And I think the tightness of this heat, as you can hear, is got a lot of their teammates excited. And the heat goes to Nick Keeler, swimming for Our Lady of Good Counsel. Takes the win by a couple of seconds in the heat. Connor Burke in second, by barely edging out Gavin Weltendorf from PVI. Connor Burke from Gonzaga. And there you see all the results. A very tight race from places 1 through 8. And now it's on to Heat 4 in the boys' 2-yard freestyle. And they are off. Let's give you the lane assignments. In Heat 4, again with apologies for having our camera issues. Michael Petrizzo swimming in lane 1. from St. John's. Hayes Gutierrez from Gonzaga, swimming in lane 2. Matthew Braverick from Gonzaga has lane 3. Ryan Vipovets, who is swimming in lane 4. Ryan is from Good Counsel, Lady of Good Counsel. William Mullen from Bishop O'Connell in lane 6. Wolfie Woolard in lane 7 from St. John's. And Jackson D. Philippart from PVI has lane 8. As the leaders in the race make another turn here. So last week up in Baltimore, swimming in competition, Ryan Vipovets. Ryan is from the Lady of Good Counsel, posted a 140.60. And Matthew Braverick posted a 146.24. It looks like that Vipovets might be off that time a little bit in this one. And he still takes the heat, and that gives him the event. So Ryan Vipovets, junior from Good Counsel, posting a 144.94. And he wins the first event, the boys 200-yard freestyle. Great race overall. We got a lot of great sophomores and freshmen competing tonight. William Mullen, one of those sophomores, is one of those swimmers that you can easily see swimming in college at a D1 program later on. Even though he's only a sophomore, he's been having a great season and a very promising high school career. Let's move on to the first girls individual event. And this is the 2-yard freestyle. We've got 3 swimmers in the pool. In lane 3, Hannah Foley from PVI, one of the many freshmen competing tonight. In lane 4, Abigail Wood from St. Mary's Ryken. And in lane 5, Skylar Watson from Bishop McNamara. There were 9 high schools here tonight in the WCAC Swim and Dive Championships that are competing on the girls' side as well. And we've got 3 of them representing the pool right now. Paul VI, St. Mary's Ryken, and Bishop McNamara. And they're also joined by Our Lady of Good Counsel, St. John's College High School, the Academy of the Holy Cross, Bishop O'Connell, Elizabeth Seton, and Bishop Ireton. So 9 high schools on the girls' side as well. As you can see from this camera shot, in the background, the dive competition here is also going on at the same time. A lot of great diving happening. And in terms of the overall swim and dive championship, all those points all the team scores get rolled into one overall score, and we'll put together the relay events, the individual events, and the dive competition. And for all the energy that these swimmers are showing in the pool, in all these events, there's also a lot of team spirit and energy going on the pool deck. And we have a winner in the first heat. The first heat goes to Hannah Foley from Paul VI. One of the many PVI swimmers here tonight. So Foley takes heat number 1. And at the moment, Abigail Wood from St. Mary's Ryken seems to have a hold on second place. And Skylar Watson from Bishop McNamara, at least at the moment, trailing in third place. You can here by the energy and not just the student athletes, but also the fans up in the bleacher areas. We don't have a camera that can show you the fans, but I can assure you it is packed tonight. A lot of families and a lot of friends of all the student athletes here to cheer on their favorite swimmer. We've had some relay events so far tonight. We're going to go through several individual events now. And we'll go back a little bit. So that's the first heat. Skylar Watson comes in third place in the first heat. And we're going to move on to the second heat, girls 200-yard freestyle. And let me give you the lane assignments for that. As they take their position, Brianna Jefferson from Bishop McNamara swimming in lane 1. Madison Dean, St. Mary's Ryken, swimming in lane 2. Gabby Bertozzi from St. John's College has lane 3. Taylor Washington, only a sophomore, from Elizabeth Seton, and she's swimming in lane 4. From Bishop Ireton in lane 5, Emily Rushka. From Elizabeth Seton, also in lane 6, Andrea Gerber. And from St. Mary's Ryken in lane 7, Connie Benson. And finally in lane 8, swimming from Bishop McNamara, Sarah Tutz. Lane 8 is the lane that is closest to the camera. Lane 1 is the lane that is farthest from the camera. So we've got another tight race underway. And Gabby Bertuzzi, Taylor Washington, and Emily Rushka at the moment all in contention for the win in heat number 2. You typically will see in these 200-yard events the split times for each swimmer to be somewhat even in the second, the third, and the fourth split. But if someone's going to come from behind, they usually need to put on a sprint, maybe in that last length. Let's see if any of the 3 leaders can break away. Very tight race. At the moment, Bertozzi and Washington competing for it, and Bertozzi, by just a fraction of a second, takes first place over Taylor Washington, and Gerber, just also by a fraction of a second, takes third place over Rushka from Bishop Ireton. So very close heat. And that will finish up the second heat for the girls 200-yard freestyle. Great race. Bertuzzi, seen from behind earlier in the race, took the second heat. And we are going to move on now to the third heat in the girls 200-yard freestyle. Let me give you the lane assignments for what is the third heat. All the lanes are going to be in play. Olivia Hawkins from Elizabeth Seton is in lane 1. Alina Shannon from PVI is in lane 2. Meredith Bacon, swimming for Bishop O'Connor. She's in lane 3. Lauren Kozorowski from the Academy of the Holy Cross. In lane 4, Layla Michelle from St. John's College in lane 5. Angeline Neugen from Bishop Ireton has lane 6. Isabel David from Bishop O'Connell swimming in lane 7. And Haley Crow from Bishop Ireton is swimming in lane 8, the lane closest to the camera. And so far, it's a fairly close race for that first and second position between the first two swimmers as they make their way down the pool. There are no freshmen swimming in this heat, which makes it a little bit unusual tonight. We're going to see a lot of freshmen competing in a lot of these individual events. So, another tight race. Heat 3 continues. Bacon swimming last week in Baltimore in competition. Posted a 2:10.99 in this event. It does look like she's probably just a little bit behind that pace tonight. All right, at the turn, remains a tight race. Michelle trying to come from behind against Kozarowski. And Kozarowski holds on to take the third heat. Good challenge from Michelle. And Shannon took third place. Also fighting off a challenge for third place from Meredith Bacon. And there are the results in what is the third heat for the girls' 200-yard freestyle. Moving on now to the fourth heat. And again, all the lanes are in play. And let me give you the lane assignments. Shelby Ball from St. John's College is swimming in lane 1. Kelly Durasmo from PVI, swimming in lane 2. Colleen Kincaid, freshman from Lady of Good Counsel, she's swimming in lane 3. Madeline Donahoe, a junior from Bishop O'Connell, is swimming in lane 4. Audrey Terrell from Our Lady of Good Counsel has lane 5. In lane 6, Jenna Kim from Our Lady of Good Counsel. Maggie Cosgrove from the Academy of the Holy Cross. One of the seniors for the Academy here tonight. She's swimming in lane 7. And another senior from the Academy of the Holy Cross, Kate Van Harrigan, has lane 8. So Donahoe from Bishop O'Connell leading in the race. Looks like possibly a tighter competition right now going on for a second place finish between Terrell and Kim. Both teammates from Our Lady of Good Counsel. But at the moment, Madeline Donahoe from Bishop O'Connell swimming with the lead. And as you can see by that turn, closely pursued by two swimmers from Our Lady of Good Counsel. And Donahoe takes the race. Terrell hangs on for second place, and her teammate from Good Counsel, Kim, is in third place. Another tight race, well swum. And there you've got the results in Heat 4. So Donahoe from Bishop O'Connell, and that actually at 152.61 sets a WCAC championship meet record. So well done Great swim by everybody. Now we're going to move on to the individual medley. We're going to go with the boys first. There will be just 3 heats. And in this first heat for the boys individual medley, we've got 7 swimmers. Alexander Zidlicki swimming in lane 1. Alex Bazinski swimming in lane 2. Bazinski is from Bishop Ireton. Zidlicki is from Gonzaga. Charles Law Williams from Bishop McNamara has lane 3. Joel Henderson from DeMatha swimming in lane 4. Chris Callaghan from St. Mary's Ryken swimming in lane 5. Dominic Sinelli from Our Lady of Good Counsel in lane 6. Ollie Bernasek, a sophomore from Gonzaga, is swimming in lane number 7. Individual medley. One of the events where the lead can shift a little bit more throughout the race, as each of the swimmers might bring a different strength, different stroke that they're strongest in to the race. So it's easy to see more lane changes. You may be trailing after the first lap, but maybe the stroke coming up is where you excel, so you're able to make up a lot of lost ground pretty quickly. So far we've seen some fast times. I mentioned in the event before this, the girls 200-yard freestyle, and Madeline Donohue from Bishop O'Connell setting a WCAC championship record. Second place was Audrey Terrell, and it was not, I don't think it was one of her faster times, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if later this season Terrell is able to take a couple of seconds off of this event. All right, so we're starting to see some results now in the first heat. Interestingly, lanes 1 and 7 are where we're going to get our first and second place finishers from this heat. The boys' individual medley relay, Ollie Bernasek from Gonzaga has taken first place in heat 1 by a comfortable margin. Alexander Zidlicki, by an even more comfortable margin, has taken second place. And Zidlicki is from Gonzaga. And Bishop Ireton's Alex Bazinski took third place, also by a comfortable margin, as the rest of the swimmers come in. So the individual medley boys side off to a good start. There you've got the results. And we will move on to heat number 2 in the 200-yard individual medley. All 8 lanes in play for this heat. Conrad Neely, freshman from DeMatha, swimming in lane 1. John Nolte, freshman from Bishop McNamara, swimming in lane 2. Jack Olison, freshman from St. John's College, swimming in lane 3. Owen Perron, freshman from St. John's College, swimming in lane 4. Joseph Ienzi is a sophomore from Bishop O'Connell in lane 5. Justin Pasqua, a junior from PVI, has lane 6. Christian McLaughlin, a sophomore from PVI, swimming in lane 7. And Will Baker, a junior from PVI, swimming in lane 8. So there are no seniors in the pool. Heat 2, boys 200-yard individual medley. So we're getting some great times from the swimmers in this event. And remember, there are no seniors, so they will be back next year and possibly a couple of years after that. something to watch for tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of freshmen, both on the boys' side and the girls' side, and also from a lot of these different schools. We're going to turn in some great performances. Don't let your age and experience be a prediction of the outcome, because these teams have talented swimmers up and down the lineup. And we're still continuing to struggle a little bit with our cameras. I should say we have more cameras than we have camera operators. We're bringing you this through Arlington Independent Media, which is a community media center. And everyone here, including myself, as producer, is a volunteer. And there is a lot to cover at any swim meet. We're going to get better coverage of the pool to you very soon, I hope. So there's the second heat winner. Owen Perron from St. John's College has taken first place in the individual medley in this second heat. Christian McLaughlin from PVI takes second place. Jack Olson from St. John's College in third place. And not very far behind, Justin Pascoe from PVI settles for fourth place in this second heat. And there are your full results. And now we'll get on to heat number 3. Heat number 3, again, all lanes are in play. There you see the lineup, lane assignments. All right, I'm giving you the lane assignments for this third heat of 3 in the boys' 200-yard individual medley. Swimming in lane 1 from Our Lady of Good Counsel, Mason Carl. Swimming in lane 2, Nick Bazinski from Bishop Ireton. Swimming in lane 3, Alexandre Brune from Our Lady of Good Counsel. Swimming in lane 4, Gabriel Larquente, also from Our Lady of Good Counsel. Swimming in lane 5, Paul Kinsella, a junior from Bishop O'Connell. Swimming in lane 6, Michael Penafiel, who is a junior from St. John's College. Swimming in lane 7, Matthew Potker, a sophomore from Gonzaga. And finally, swimming in lane 8, Tyler Lentine, a freshman from Bishop O'Connell. Swimming last week in competition, several of these swimmers in this heat were swimming in the same event in competition last weekend in Baltimore. Gabriel Larquente posted a 1:54.6. So far, he looks like the split times are a little bit behind, slower than that tonight. Paul Kinsella from Bishop O'Connell was also swimming in Baltimore. He posted a 1:57.7. His split times look like he's a little bit faster tonight. Alexandre Brune also swam last week in Baltimore, and he posted a 2.0.85, and he looks to be a little bit behind his time from last week. And Tyler Lentine from Bishop O'Connell also swam in Baltimore last week in competition. He posted 2:15.63. His split times tonight look to be on the same pace. And Mason Carl, also swimming in Baltimore last week in this event, he posted 2:14.38. And his split times tonight look to be a little bit slower than that. And that finishes up the third heat of the boys' individual medley. Gabriel Larquente in a very close race, taking first place for Good Counsel with a time of 1:56.37. Very competitive event, and that also sets a WCAC Swim and Dive Championship meet record. A lot of records being set tonight here at the WCAC Championship. And we're going to move right into the girls' events for the individual medley, 200 yard. And to give you the lane assignments, in heat number 1, Sage Scott is swimming for St. Mary's Ryken in lane 1, and then Maria Beckert, a junior from Elizabeth Seton, is in lane 2, also from Elizabeth Seton. Tyra Agnew in lane 3. In lane 4, a freshman from PVI, Emma Vanell. And in lane 5, a freshman from Elizabeth Seton, Zora Stovall. And in lane 6, another freshman from Bishop O'Connell, Victoria Fawn. And then in lane 7, from St. Mary Ryken, Amy Gatto is swimming. So I also apologize again. We're still having some difficulty getting our cameras to cover the whole pool, but you can't see them right now, but I can assure you, there they are. The swimmers are in the pool, and we're now getting to the first part of our portion of the individual medley in this first heat. As a reminder, all heats in the championship tonight. Our finals, we had typically having 4 heats in each event. For individual medley tonight, we had just 3 heats in the boys' side, and we will be having 3 heats in the girls' side. So in this first heat, all but one lane is being used. And at the moment, Tyra Agnew has a pretty good lead on the field, as she is more than halfway through the event. With the individual medley, often you can see some lead changes if different swimmers are coming into the event, maybe with different strengths and some of the different, in any of the 4 different strokes that they have to perform. But at the moment, it's a pretty good lead for Tyra Agnew. And she takes first place in the event. And she's followed fairly closely by Emma Vanell from PVI. And our third place finisher in the event is Zora Stovall. So, strong performance by some freshmen. Now you see the full results for the first heat. Moving on to the second heat now. This one will also have 7 swimmers. We had a last-minute scratch. And you saw the lane assignments, and Siobhan Chalk from Bishop Ireton swimming in lane 1. And lane 1 is the lane farthest away from the camera. Lauren Simonson, from a senior from Bishop O'Connell, is swimming in lane 2. A senior from the Academy of the Holy Cross, Jordan Shuck, is swimming in lane 4. Lauren Vanelf, a senior from PVI, swimming in lane 5. Natalie Pavko-Ludschweiger, who is a junior from Bishop O'Connell, she's swimming in lane 6. Lainey Brown, a freshman from PVI, swimming in lane 7. And then we have Sam Little from Bishop Ireton, and she is swimming in lane 8, which is that lane closest to the edge of the pool near the camera. Should be a fairly close race if you take a look at the seeding times for these swimmers. And at the end of the backstroke lap, it is still fairly tight. So at this point, anyone's race to win. After that first lap, Jordan Shuck from the Academy of the Holy Cross had a lead, but not a very large lead. And as we go through the different strokes that are involved, let's see if she can continue to hold that lead. Coming into the end of the second length. She looks like she might have extended the lead a little bit. And the swimmers who were fighting for second position, also have spread out just a little bit. But again, particularly with the medley, when the stroke changes with each lap, sometimes the speed of the swimmers and the order of position can change somewhat dramatically. And that's the win in the heat. Heat number 2, Jordan Shuck from Academy of the Holy Cross, with a comfortable win, a margin of about 6 seconds or so over Lauren Vanell from PVI. And Lainey Brown, very closely behind Vanell, takes third place, also from PVI. So let's move on to heat number 2. You saw the results there for heat number 2. Moving on to heat number 3 in this event. The lane assignments. All 8 lanes are being used in this third heat in the girls' 200-yard individual medley. Let me just review the lane assignments for you as we see some of the swimmers making their way for the first lap. We have Carolyn Howley, who's a junior from Academy of the Holy Cross, swimming in lane 1. Sarah Culkin, a freshman from Good Counsel, swimming in lane 2, also from Good Counsel. Bridget Kim is in lane 3, and again from Good Counsel, Hannah Owens is swimming in lane 4. Gabby Stanfield from St. John's College is in lane 5. Rafaela Gutierrez, who is a senior from the Academy of the Holy Cross, and she is in lane 6. Sarah Lugard, also a senior from St. John's College, in lane 7, and then in lane 8, the lane closest to the camera, Abby Dodge, who's also a senior from St. John's College. And based on the seating times, this was looking like it was going to be a very tight race, and based on how things are going in the pool, it has not disappointed. So last week in Baltimore, Hannah Owens, she swam a 2:14.11 in the same event, competing in Baltimore last week, and she looks like she's ahead of that pace tonight. So Gabby Stanfield takes the heat, takes the win, and she sets a WCAC swim and dive championship record with 2 minutes 8 seconds, .86, winning by about 5 seconds, and then in a very close race for second and third place between 3 Good Counsel swimmers. All right, moving right along, we're going to go on to the boys' 50-yard freestyle. This is the real fast-paced race. It's a sprint throughout. There's really no area to strategize in this race. You just have to sprint. You can't really decide whether you want to try to swim from behind or take a lead because it's over too quickly. And swimming in the pool, Sean Ignasic from St. Mary's Ryken, Ethan Holly from Bishop McNamara, and also from Bishop McNamara, Ryan Smith are our swimmers. And so heat number 1 is done. Sean Ignasic takes it St. Mary's Ryken with a time of 31.78. 50-yard freestyle for the boys. Let's move right along into heat number 2. And you've got to look at the lane assignments there. All 8 lanes being used. David Harmon from Bishop McNamara is in lane 1. Chase Foley, lane 2 from Bishop Ireton. Peter Smearman from Bishop Ireton, lane 3. Dante Viana from Bishop Ireton, lane 4. Clement Greco, who is from PVI, and he's in lane 5. Kyle Stewart is swimming in lane 6 from DeMatha, and from St. Mary's Ryken in 7 and 8, Matt Paget and Patrick Devine. And Clement Greco has taken heat number 2. Less than a second ahead of his closest pursuer, Kyle Stewart from DeMatha. All right, we're going to move right along to heat number 3 in the boys' 50-yard freestyle. The heat lane assignments are William Sullivan from Bishop O'Connell in lane 1. Grayson Jaswick is in lane 2, also from Bishop O'Connell. Alexander Gomez from Gonzaga, lane 3. Jonathan Crocker from Good Counsel, lane 4. Christopher Tanis from Good Counsel, lane 5. Thomas Steele, St. John's College, lane 6. Benjamin Ruka from St. John's College, lane 7. Vincent DiLeonardo, freshman from Bishop O'Connell, swimming in lane 8 here in the 3rd heat. Last week, Alexander Gomez swimming in competition from Gonzaga. Up there in Baltimore, he posted a 22.80. He's a little bit behind that pace tonight, but he still takes first place in heat 3. And Jonathan Crocker from Good Counsel was a very close second. It was a close race throughout. Moving right along to heat 4. The lane assignments are Han Rue from PVI in lane number 1. Ryan Catron from Gonzaga, lane number 2. Miles Richardson from DeMatha, lane number 3. Alex Lamb, who's a junior from PVI, he's in lane 4. Brady Ott from Good Counsel, he's in lane 5. Davis Gochius, senior from Gonzaga, lane 6. Ahmed Dove from St. John's College, lane 7. Cade Jackson swimming in lane 8, and a very tight finish. 4th heat, and it goes to Alex Lamb, barely edging out Miles Richardson. Great performance by all 8 swimmers in the boys' 50-yard freestyle 4th heat. And I think if a synchronized swim judge had wandered into the pool, they also would have gotten great marks for synchronized swimming, because that was a great close finish. All right, let's move on now to the girls' side for the 50-yard freestyle. And we've got 3 swimmers in this first heat. We're going to have 4 heats in the girls' race. And the swimmers are Kutina Carlos from St. Mary's Ryken in lane 3. Lane 4 is Ariana Bubb, also from St. Mary's Ryken. And the 3rd St. Mary's Ryken swimmer in this first heat, McKinley Muldoon, swimming in lane 5. And they have made the turn, and they are still fairly close together. And heat number 1 will go to Ariana Bubb from St. Mary's Ryken. All right, and then moving right along to the second heat in the girls' 50-yard freestyle. Lane assignments, Paige Walden, Bishop McNamara, lane 1. Margaret Virostek from Bishop Ireton in lane 2. Cecilia Talbot from St. John's College in lane 3. Sarah David, swimming for Bishop O'Connell, is in lane 4. Kai Shanklin from Elizabeth Seton, swimming in lane 5. Lane 6 has Adriana Imez from Bishop McNamara, and in lane 7, Gabrielle Melton, who is from PVI. And swimming last week in this competition, Sarah David from Bishop O'Connell posted a 27.98. This week, she takes this heat, is just slightly behind that time. And there you see the results for heat number 2. And let's move right on to heat number 3. Should be another close race. You saw the lane assignments. We had Lucy Palmatier, who's swimming in lane 1 from the Academy of Holy Cross. Samantha Kelly from lane 2, senior from PVI. Abigail Griot from a senior from Bishop Ireton in lane 3. Paige Etris, a freshman from St. John's College in lane 4. Isabel David, a junior from Bishop O'Connell in lane 5. Grace Rivas, a senior from Elizabeth Seton, is swimming in lane 6. Reagan Foley swimming in lane 7 for PBI, and Ayana McCarley swimming in lane 8 from Bishop McNamara. And so the race goes to Grace Rivas from Elizabeth Seton. Second place, Reagan Foley. Paige Etris from St. John's College comes in third. Last week in Baltimore, she swam the same event, and she was about half a second faster last week. So moving on quickly now to heat number 4 in the girls' 50-yard freestyle. You just saw the lane assignments. We have Lauren Martin from Good Counsel in lane 1, Maureen Cosgrove in lane 2 from Academy of Holy Cross, Aaliyah Oliphant from Good Counsel lane 3, Paige Hall swimming for Bishop O'Connell is in lane 4, Lauren Artis in lane 5 from Elizabeth Seton, Layla Michelle from St. John's College lane 6, Abby Graminski lane 7 from Good Counsel, and Maeve Smith swimming in lane 8 is from the Academy of Holy Cross. And a very quick and tight race, and the event and the heat goes to Paige Hall from Bishop O'Connell with a time of 24.62, and she's followed by a couple of swimmers from Good Counsel. So good, strong race from all 8 swimmers. And now we're going to move on to the 100-yard butterfly. And in this first heat, we're doing the boys' events first. In this first heat for the butterfly, we have almost a full pool. Swimming in lane 1 is Will Baker from PVI. Swimming in lane 2, Ryan Magnino. He's a freshman from St. John's College. He is in lane 2. Kyle Stewart, he's in lane 3. And Will Baker swimming in lane 2. Swimming in lane 4, Kyle Stewart, who's a junior from DeMatha. Joshua Tan is in lane 5. He's from St. John's College. John Nolte, who is a freshman from Bishop McNamara, is swimming in lane number 6. And in lane 7, Alex Kim from St. Mary's Ryken. Ryan Magnino, who's a freshman from St. John's College. He has lane 3 in this heat. He also competed in the dive competition tonight. So one of several student athletes competing for their school in both swim and dive here at the WCAC Swim and Dive Championship. And this first heat will go to Ryan Magnino, who is only a freshman, and he's at St. John's College. So a strong start to the event, 100-yard butterfly. He managed to edge out Kyle Stewart. Magnino edges out Stewart by half a second to take this first heat. Moving on now to the second heat in the boys' 100-yard butterfly. All 8 lanes are in play, and Sam Donovan, a freshman from Bishop O'Connell, swimming there in lane 1. Nathan Braun, who is a senior from DeMatha, is in lane 2. Ahmad Dove, a sophomore from St. John's College, is in lane 3. Jackson Philippart from PVI, lane 4. Daniel Bobolts from Bishop O'Connell, lane 5. Wesley Douglas from DeMatha, swimming in lane 6. Ben Nethery is swimming in lane 7 from Bishop Ireton. And then in lane 8, Vincent DiLeonardo, who is a freshman from Bishop O'Connell, swimming in that lane closest to the camera. It's the second heat of the boys' 100-yard butterfly. And as they near the finish, very tight race for first place, and it goes to Jackson Philippart from PVI by about 1/10 of a second over Ahmad Dove from St. John's College, and followed not too far behind by Daniel Bobolts from Bishop O'Connell. So a strong heat good performance. Tight finish, particularly among the top 5 swimmers in that heat. All right, let's get on to heat number 3. This is the last heat we'll get in the boys 100 butterfly. And the lane assignments, Javier Chiraboga, who is from Bishop Ireton. He's in lane 1. Alexandre Brune is from Good Counsel, and he's in lane 2. Alexander Zidlicki, a senior from Gonzaga, has lane 3. Ryan Vivovitz, a junior from Good Counsel, lane 4. And also in lane 5, another junior from Good Counsel, Gabriel Larquente, who's already won one of the boys' events so far tonight. Jack Hauser from PVI has lane 6. Ollie Bernasek from Gonzaga, lane 7. And then also in lane 8, another swimmer from Gonzaga, Justin Hill. And the swimmers are approaching the finish line in their last lap, and a very tight race. Again, by not much more than 1/10 of a second. Vipovitz from Good Counsel takes first, and Larquente from Good Counsel takes second. Great race, great event for the boys. And now, because of some scratches, we're gonna have a solo swimmer again, and this is the first heat, and it is the girls 100-yard butterfly. And Jasmine Sotelo from Bishop McNamara has the pool to herself in this first heat. As I mentioned at the start of the individual event tonight, where we also, because of some scratches and the swimmers entered, had a heat with only one swimmer. That is probably the last thing you want to do as a competitive swimmer. You want to have that energy of having to push yourself against at least one other swimmer in an adjacent lane. But Zotelo is making a go of it and putting in a pretty good time here. She's a freshman from Bishop McNamara. And she'll put up the best time she can on the board. So we did have a couple of scratches, as I mentioned. This was going to be more than a one-swimmer event, but that's what we have in the first heat. We will have 4 heats for the girls in the 100-yard butterfly. And that is heat number 1. Jasmine Sotelo with a time of 1:24. And now heat 2. We also had a scratch from this event. Let me try to give you the lane assignments. Amy Gatto swimming in lane 1. Amy Gatto is from St. Mary's Ryken. Madeline Williams, who is from Bishop O'Connell, swimming in lane 3. In lane 4, Raja Gusam, who is from Elizabeth Seton. In lane 6, Zora Stovall, who is from Elizabeth Seton. And then in lane 7, Sage Scott from St. Mary's Ryken. And it is a fairly close race here, as we're getting about 3/4 of the way through. Raja Gusam from Elizabeth Seton has a lead. She's trying to hold up a challenge from Madeline Williams from Bishop O'Connell. Williams closes the gap, but not quite enough. So very close finish. A good rally by Madeline Williams from Bishop O'Connell, but Raja Gusam takes this second heat with a time of 1:09.05. Now you see all the results. Stovall from Elizabeth Seton finishes in 3rd place. So moving on now to the 3rd heat. And we'll have a full pool for this one. This is the third of 4 finals heats in the girls' 100-yard butterfly. And they are off. And lane assignments are Emma Vanell from PVI, lane number 1. Emma Mitchell from St. John's College is in lane number 2. Clara McNamara swimming in lane 3 from Bishop O'Connell. Abby Graminski from Good Counsel swimming in lane 4. Lane 5 has Paige Etris from St. John's College. Lauren Artist, a junior from Elizabeth Seton, is swimming in lane 6. Lainey Brown from PVI swimming in lane 7. And from Bishop O'Connell in lane 8, lane close to the camera, Natalie Pavko Ludgefighter. And this heat, half the swimmers are freshmen. Said it before, I'll probably say it again. An impressive showing by freshmen from all of the WCAC schools here at the Swim and Dive Championship. And it is very tight. A very well-contested race. Paige Etris from St. John's College takes it by less than a half second over Abby Graminski from Good Counsel. Followed very closely by Claire McNamara, who edged out Lainey Brown to take third place in that heat. There you see all the results. All right, moving now on to the 4th heat. All heats are finals in the girls' 100-yard butterfly. And Ava Silva from Good Counsel swimming in lane 1. Jordan Chuck swimming in lane 2 from the Academy of Holy Cross. Kate Cosgrove from the Academy of Holy Cross in lane 3. Olivia French from Good Counsel in lane 4. Gabby Stanfield has already won an event tonight from St. John's College, lane 5. Kelly Durasmo from PVI, lane 6. Lane 7 has Rafaela Gutierrez, who is from the Academy of the Holy Cross. And Sam Little from Bishop Ireton, swimming in lane 8. Olivia French, she's the senior at Good Counsel, who is swimming in lane 4. She has already made a commitment to swim at Tulane next year. And she takes this heat and she takes the event. Olivia French, by over 2 seconds margin, takes the girls' 100-yard butterfly and sets the WCAC swim and dive championship record. Olivia French, senior from Good Counsel, she's making waves tonight at the championship, and her commitment next year is to swim for the green wave. So, and now we're going to move on to the boys' 100-yard freestyle. And in this first heat, we just have 3 swimmers. Nick Bazinski from Bishop Ireton, Matt Paget from St. Mary's Ryken, and Aaron McDonald from Bishop McNamara. And Bazinski has jumped out to a very early and what could be a commanding lead. He's halfway through his race, and he is well ahead of his pursuers. Last week, swimming in Baltimore, Nick Bazinski from Bishop Ireton, competing up in Baltimore, he swam a 51.50 in the same event. He's pretty much on that pace, maybe just a little behind that pace tonight. Let's see where he ends up. But heat number 1 goes to Bazinski by a fairly large margin. And Bazinski will wait in the pool, and swimmers number 2 and number 3 will finish in a very tight finish for second place in this heat. So heat number 1, Nick Bazinski, 52.57, a little bit behind last week's pace, but he won his heat and won it convincingly. And now moving on to the second heat of the boys 100-yard freestyle. We've had 1 scratch, so we have only 7 lanes being used. Chris Callaghan is swimming in lane 1 from St. Mary's Ryken. Thomas Wiltshire from PVI is swimming in lane 3. Mikey Rourke from Bishop O'Connell is swimming in lane 4. Dante Viana from Bishop Ireton is in lane 5. Jeffrey Kidwell from PVI is in lane 6. Cortland Daverine from Bishop McNamara is swimming in lane 7. Andrew Beckman from St. Mary's Ryken, he's swimming in lane 8. Mikey Roque from Bishop O'Connell competed in this event last week. He has a very small lead here tonight. And last week he was able to post a time of 57.37 in this event. He is a little behind that tonight, but he still takes the second heat by less than 0.2 of a second over Dante Viana from Bishop Ireton. And Wilshire is in third from PVI, and Kidwell, also from PVI, takes fourth in this second heat. So close race. Mikey Roque from Bishop O'Connell takes the heat. And now moving on to heat number 3, we will have a full pool for this one. And our lane assignments are swimming in lane 1, Grayson Chaswick from Bishop O'Connell. In lane 2, Jonathan Crocker from Good Counsel. In lane 3, Xavier Fuller from DeMatha. In lane 4, Ethan Rambo from Good Counsel. Lane 5 has John Alexander from Bishop McNamara. Lane 6 has Cade Jackson swimming for DeMatha. Lane 7 has Thomas Steele, a junior from St. John's College. And then in lane 8, swimming for Bishop O'Connell, a senior, William Sullivan. So last week up in Baltimore, John Alexander posted a 51.42 in this event. He's a little behind that tonight. And it looks like Xavier Fuller from DeMatha, by about a half second, has taken this third heat from Jonathan Crocker. Brian Crocker finishing second, and Kay Jackson, also from DeMatha, finishes third. All right, let's move on to the fourth heat now. In the boys' 100-yard freestyle, we will also have a full pool. We saw the lane assignments. I'll give you those again. Miles Richardson from DeMatha, lane 1. Michael Patrizzo from St. John's College is in lane 2. Lawrence Redman from Gonzaga, lane 3. In lane 4, his Gonzaga teammate Hayes Gochietz. Lane 5 from PVI has Alex Lamb, and Matthew Braverick from Gonzaga is in lane 6. Miguel Davis from St. John's College in lane 7. And in lane 8, from Good Counsel, Brady Ott. This heat in the boys 100-yard freestyle, it's all juniors and seniors except for Hayes Gutierrez, who is a sophomore. And Miguel Davis, in a very close race, wins the heat, sets a WCAC meet record, 47.88, and the close race is for second place between 3 swimmers, Redmond, Bravik, and Lamb. All right, moving on now. The girls' side, we're going to have 3 swimmers in this first heat of the 100-yard freestyle. Ariana Bubb, St. Mary's Ryken, is in lane 3. Lane 4 has Alina Kakar from Bishop McNamara. And lane 5 has Elizabeth Zimzakoak from St. Mary's Ryken. I apologize to any of the swimmers whose names I've mispronounced. All right, we're into the girls' side now, and we have just 2 swimmers in the first heat, and The lead is pretty close. Kekar from Bishop McNamara has a small lead, but we're not even 3/4 of the way through. Looks like as they go into the third length, she's able to maintain that lead, maybe increase it just a little bit. As Mkawak is trying to rally from behind here, and now it looks like Kekar has extended her lead. A late sprint. Zimkowak. Alina Kekar from Bishop McNamara hangs on, fends off a late challenge by Elizabeth Zimkowak from St. Mary's Ryken. And the first heat in the girls' 100-yard freestyle goes to Bishop McNamara. Moving on now to the second heat. In this event, we've got a full pool. You just saw the lane assignments. And the swimmers are ready, and they are off. Just to review the lane assignments for you, we have swimming in lane 1, also from Bishop Ireton. Allie Noon and Fawn from St. John's College is swimming in lane 2. In lane 3, Cecilia Talbot, also from St. John's College. Lane 4 has Ayana McCarley, who is from Bishop McNamara. Caroline Williams is from PVI, and she has lane 5. Erin Soul from St. Mary's Ryken, lane 6. Alicia Waterman from Bishop McNamara, swimming in lane 7. And a sophomore from Elizabeth Seton, Sophia Cooney, is swimming in lane 8. And the swimmers are fairly spread out right now. But let's see where this ends up. And the race goes to Ayana McCarley from Bishop McNamara. Comfortable win over Caroline Williams from PVI. So we've got heat number 2 done. Very close race for second place in that heat. And moving on now to heat 3. Heat 3, we've only got 7 swimmers in the pool. We had a late scratch. And once again, they're off. So let's do the lane assignments again for you. Abby Kinsella from Bishop O'Connell. She has lane 2. Alina Shannon from PVI. She has lane 3. Tyra Agnew from Elizabeth Seton, swimming in lane 4. In lane 5, Razel Abagadi, and she's a freshman from the Academy of the Holy Cross as we get to the halfway point of this heat. Abigail Griot from Bishop Ireton, swimming in lane 6. Lane 7 has Anna Rose Kuchias, and she's from PVI. And in lane 8, Olivia Hawkins from Elizabeth Seton. And it's a very tight race. This heat will come down to maybe a late push by any one of these swimmers you see. Very close. And Razel Abagadi from the Academy of Holy Cross, by less than a second, is able to edge out Tyra Agnew, swimming for Elizabeth Seton. And we also had a very tight race for third place. So very, very close race, great heat. And move on to the 4th heat now in the girls' 100-yard freestyle. And let me just give you those lane assignments again. We're looking at a full pool. Lauren Simonson, a senior from Bishop O'Connell in lane 1. Kate Van Harrigan, a senior from Academy of the Holy Cross, in lane 2. Keela Brown, a junior from St. John's College, is in lane 3. A freshman from Bishop O'Connell, Paige Hall, has lane 4. Audrey Terrell, a junior from Good Counsel, lanes 5. Lane 6, also from the Lady of Good Counsel, Jenna Kim. Aaliyah Oliphant from Good Counsel, lane 7. And Maeve Smith is the swimmer, and she's a freshman from the Academy of the Holy Cross. in this fourth heat, and we once again have a very tight race here. It'll come down to maybe a last push by one of these two swimmers. Last week, Lauren Simonson, swimming in competition, swam 58.10. She's ahead of that pace tonight. But it is Keela Brown who takes this heat by less than 0.2 of a second. And Paige Hall comes in second. And there you see the results. So a great competitive race in Heat 4 for the girls' 100-yard freestyle. And Keela Brown has just set another WCAC championship meet record. So great job, and she had to run a very tough race to do it. Now we're going to move on to the 500-yard freestyle section of the evening. And we have in this first heat, as we've been doing all night, we're starting on the boys' events. In this first heat, we have Alex Brzezinski swimming for Bishop Ireton. He is in lane 3. In lane 4, Jay Schramm, who is swimming for PVI. And swimming in lane 5, Kaylin Grange, who's also from PVI. And at the moment, there's very little distance separating the three swimmers. But this is the longest distance event of the evening. And one thing that is for sure, plenty of time to lose a lead, regain a lead, and lose a lead again in an event like this. And typically, if you're swimming in an event like this, you really want to find that steady pace and stay in that kind of zone and put in the best time that the training has let you do. Just recheck the lane assignments. Actually, I had those lane assignments wrong. It's in lane 4 is Alex Brzezinski from Bishop Ireton. Sorry about the confusion. We showed them correctly on the graphics. And at the moment, it is Brzezinski who has about a half swimmer lead. And again, as I was mentioning, this is very, very early in the race. The Bishop Ireton swim team, both the boys and girls, they are coached by Jennifer Leslie, who herself swam for Bishop Ireton, and she was a member of the class of 2000, which was right about the time, or maybe a little bit before, many of the student athletes competing here tonight were born. So I am not trying to make Coach Leslie feel old by any means. She had a great swimmer in her swimming career and has been doing a great job coaching. And I have mentioned several times tonight at the end of an event, both for the boys' side and the girls' side, that it has set a new WCAC championship meet record. And I've been informed that this is, in fact, the first WCAC swim and dive championship. So there is a lot of record setting. It remains to be seen whether next year, because there will certainly be a second one, if those records can hold up. But for tonight, every win is a record. Now, you know, as most people know, the WCAC has been around for about 60 years. It's been around a long time, and offered a lot of great competition by student athletes at their member schools in many different sports. And they have had championships of long standing for several other sports. And you can see we are now just past halfway in this race as the teammates giving the swimmers the count. So the WCAC has long had a lot of championships. It could be a little bit surprising, but that this is the first one in swim dive, because these schools have had swim and dive teams for decades. Many of them have at times have produced tremendous swimmers. It's been a a rich tradition of competition. But the thing to remember is that that by no means means these schools have not had championships or that championship level excitement opportunity to swim. They are all drawn from the Commonwealth of Virginia, the state of Maryland, and the District of Columbia in terms of their location. So within those jurisdictions, they've had multiple opportunities for different kinds of championships. Many of them, their swim teams have won at times or performed very well. And the other thing I can point to in terms of the WCAC is, every one of these schools has a rival, and if you compete in any sport, those rivalry meets, those rivalry games, those rivalry matches I've been out to several of them in different sports, and I can attest they're just a lot of team energy, a lot of excitement from the fans. So the fact that in 2018 here we are with the first WCAC Swim Dive Championship doesn't mean at all that the many student athletes have not had multiple opportunities to swim in that kind of exciting, high-energy environment. And one of the things that a lot of these schools have done for a while now is compete in the National Catholic High School Championship, which happened to be in Baltimore and was just last weekend. And among the boys' teams up there competing in Baltimore that are also competing here tonight, Gonzaga, they did extremely well. Their team scored. They finished second at the national championship. Our Lady of Good Counsel was up there. They finished seventh. St. John's College High School competed. Bishop O'Connell competed. And the Heights School, another WCAC school, they are not competing tonight, but they competed last week in Baltimore at the National Catholic High School Championship. So, and a lot of the swimmers from these schools that you see here tonight that were in Baltimore last week did very well up in Baltimore. So, all right, we are getting near the end of the first heat, and Alex Basinski, by about halfway through the race, through the heat, he had built up a comfortable lead. I think all three swimmers in the pool kind of kept a pretty steady pace throughout, and that gave Basinski a comfortable win over Jay Schramm from PVI. So we've got the first heat done. The number 3 swimmer will be finishing up soon, and we will move on to the second heat. It's always interesting to see which swimmers decide to compete in the 500-yard freestyle. And then you see the official results for tonight. Basinski takes it. Of all the different events you can compete in, it's probably the only one that can have a chance of negatively affecting the energy you might have certainly for an event that follows this. But all right, on to heat number 2 now in the boys 500-yard freestyle. And we just saw the lane assignments. Let me just give those to you again. In lane 1, Liam Bailey, a senior from Bishop O'Connell. Lane 2, Mikey Roque, also a senior from Bishop O'Connell. Lane 3 has Jack Olison, and he is one of 3 freshmen competing in this heat. And Jack Olison, a freshman from St. John's College. Chase Grossnickel is a freshman from a Lady of Good Counsel, and he is swimming in lane 4. Ryan McGovern, who is a freshman from a Lady of Good Counsel, he is swimming in lane 5. Joshua Tan, a sophomore from St. John's College, is swimming in lane 6. And Rylan Crosby, who is a junior from DeMatha, and he's swimming in lane 7. So far, we have a couple of swimmers that have put some distance between themselves and the field, and the rest of the field seems to be swimming fairly closely. As I mentioned in the first heat, at 500 yards, and being early in this race, in this heat, pretty much anything can happen. As a swimmer, you're looking to get a good steady pace and make it stand up, but there are chances for some lead switches throughout. So I talked about some of the boys' swim teams that were up in Baltimore competing last week at the National Catholic Championships. And this week has also been a pretty busy week for the WCAC. And some other sports going on this past week. The boys basketball team from Gonzaga defeated Bishop Ireton, and that was just last night. It was 69-49. Now Bishop Ireton, that means that in the last 4 games they've split. They've got 2 losses and 2 wins. And also last night, the St. Mary's Ryken boys basketball team defeated Bishop McNamara 69-56. And St. Mary's Ryken, the boys team, that gives them a couple of wins for the week. And at PVI, who's been having a tremendous season this year in boys basketball, the boys basketball team won its 14th straight game. That was earlier today. It was in the afternoon, and they beat rival Bishop O'Connell 59-54, which gives them a sweep of the season series. So, congrats to the Panthers. They put together a very, I think, a special boys basketball team this year. They're always strong in boys basketball. It's a great program, but this year they've. I think it's fair to say in some ways they've outdone themselves and put together a great winning season. All right, back to the pool. We are in heat number 2 of the boys 500-yard freestyle. We have in this heat we have several freshmen and several seniors. And at the moment, the leaders are well in front in this heat, and they've started to put a little distance between themselves and the rest of the field. And Chase Grossnickel from Good Counsel started to put a little distance between himself and Ryan McGovern, his teammate from Lady of Good Counsel. Jack Olson from St. John's College contesting for 3rd place right now. And we are more than 3/4 of the way through. And at the moment, Chase Grossnickel has a comfortable lead. And let's see if he is able to just keep a steady pace and hold that comfortable lead in this heat. All right, we are down to one more lap for the leader. And Grossnickel. He swimming ahead of the pace that Baczynski set in the first heat, and Grossnickel takes heat number 2. Ryan McGovern takes 2nd place. And that leaves Jack Olson coming in 3rd as some of the other swimmers now finish up and claim different places. We had only 7 swimmers in this heat. As we will wait for the last swimmer to finish. Great job. This is not an event for the faint-hearted. 500 yards is a long way to swim, in competition or not. The other thing about this event is your training for it is also potentially a lot more exhausting and a lot more involved than training for some of these shorter events. All right, that was heat number 2. We're going to move on now to heat number 3, the boys 500-yard freestyle. We did have a scratch from the field. And you saw the lane assignments. Let me just review those lane assignments for you. We have swimming in lane number 1, Gavin Wietendorf from PBI. Connor Burke from Gonzaga College High School is swimming in lane number 2. Matthew Podker, also from Gonzaga, swimming in lane number 3. Eamon Smith, a freshman from Gonzaga, is swimming in lane number 4. William Mullen from Bishop O'Connell has lane 5. PJ Emmerich from DeMatha, swimming in lane number 7. Owen Perron from St. John's College. And Owen is one of the many freshmen competing very well tonight here at the WCAC Swim and Dive Championship. He is swimming in lane 8 in this event. If you look at the seeding times, there's great potential for a close race in this event. We will have to see what happens. It's such a long event. It's not as easily to predict how it's going to go as maybe some of the other events. So I mentioned the National Catholic High School Championship in Baltimore a week ago. Several of these high schools were competing in that. And the WMPSSDL, Washington Metropolitan Prep School Swim Dive League Championship, which has been an annual event for a while now, and in which several of these WCAC high schools also compete, and that's coming up in about a week. So they'll go from one championship level excitement competition to the next. Some of these swimmers will. And several of the schools that will compete in the WMPSSDL have turned in some great times here tonight. So part of the challenge for them will be to repeat that performance. Which in any sport, really for any athlete or any team, can often be the toughest thing to do from week to week in competition. Last week in Baltimore, Eamon Smith, who's from Gonzaga, swam a 4-minute 48.66 seconds 500-yard freestyle when he was in competition up there in Baltimore. Based on his splits, he is very close to that right now, so good consistency there. And William Mullen from Bishop O'Connell, back up in Baltimore, swam a 4-minute 53.64 seconds. 4 minutes, 53.64 seconds time in Baltimore. And based on his split so far in this race, he seems to be ahead of that pace. So Smith and Mullen, who you see there in the middle lanes, are close. They were close, but not quite as close last week in Baltimore, but they are close tonight. And let's see where this one ends up. This is heat number 3, boys 500-yard freestyle. Mullen will have to make a late push. And here comes Smith. And Smith takes the heat and the event. Great 500-yard race. Eamon Smith, who is only a freshman, takes the heat over Mullen from Bishop O'Connell. So you see the other swimmers coming in. So another great event here. The boys' side is done now on the 500-yard freestyle. And a very competitive race. Over the last 2 or 3 lengths, Mullen was able to cut the gap. Smith had gotten himself a pretty nice lead earlier in the race, but Mullen cut the gap, but not enough. And Smith hung on, finished strong, and took the heat and took the event. All right, now we're going to move on to the girls' 500-yard freestyle. And we are in heat number 1. We also had some scratches in this race. We were going to have 7 swimmers in this first heat. We actually only have 6 swimmers. And let me just review those lane assignments for you as the first heat of the girls' 500-yard freestyle gets underway. Swimming in lane number 2, we have Mary Kate Mull. Mary Kate is from Bishop Ireton. Swimming in lane number 3, Jaden Boatwright, who is a freshman. And this heat has 5 freshmen and 1 senior in it. It's a very freshman-dominated event. Jaden Boatwright, who's a freshman from Elizabeth Seton, she is swimming in lane number 3. In lane 4, Anna DeVore, a freshman from St. John's College. In lane 5, Alexandra Ingram, freshman from Elizabeth Seton. Isla Riley is a freshman from St. John's College, and she's swimming in lane 6. In lane 7, we have Sarah Tutz, Bishop McNamara, swimming in this event. And at the moment, the leaders are still fairly close together, so this could be an exciting heat. I think Boatwright has a small lead right now, but not something you can count on over the length of a 500-yard race. I mentioned some of the other WCAC sports action going on around the conference this past week. On the girls' side, the girls' basketball team from PBI won their 9th straight game. They defeated rival Bishop O'Connell. And so like the boys' team, the girls' team in basketball swept the season series against arch rival O'Connell. And then last night, the girls' basketball team from Bishop McNamara defeated St. Mary's Ryken. St. Mary's Ryken didn't have a good week. They also lost to PBI earlier this week. And then also in girls' basketball around the WCAC this week, Bishop Ireton won all 3 games it played. It defeated Bishop O'Connell 43-38 in a very strong defensive matchup. It defeated Bishop McNamara by just a basket, 50-48. And Ireton defeated the Academy of the Holy Cross 52-31. So great week for the Bishop Ireton girls basketball team. And also around the WCAC this week, there were competitions in indoor track. And Episcopal High School, not a WCAC school, but they hosted their annual invitational on Thursday. And it's always a big event for the local high school scene in athletics. And 2 of the WCAC schools were there. For PVI, on the girls' side, indoor track, they picked up a first-place finish in the 55-meter sprint for Bridget Fitzsimmons. And in the girls' 1600 meters, Ellie Thurneson took first place, and Raphael Henson Vandrel was in second place. So great performance by the middle distance runners from PVI. And then on the boys' side at the indoor track invitational, the PVI team took first place in the 4x800 relays, and also Aiden McCarthy took first place in the 500-yard meter race. Also at the same Episcopal Invitational, Gonzaga runners Gavin McKellanen was in first place, and David Giannini was in second place in the 600-meter race. I also would mention this past week, the WCAC schools had a very busy week in ice hockey, also in wrestling. And so the month of January might often start out a little slow as schools come back from winter break, but most of the month is pretty busy for sports teams in the WCAC, and in fact for really all of the high schools in the DMV area. So busy time of year, a lot going on. We got a lot going on tonight here at Yorktown Pool in what I will remind everyone is the first WCAC swim and dive conference championship. Great that they've decided to do that. And we are well along here in this first heat. The girls 500. And we are down to the last lap. Jaden Boatwright, early on in this race, took the lead. She remains in the lead, but not conclusively. You see the last length sign being flashed. And Alexandra Ingram from Elizabeth Seton will be trying to catch her teammate, Jaden Boatwright. But it looks like Boatwright is going to finish strong. And Jaden Boatwright from Elizabeth Seton takes the first heat. Her teammate, Alexandra Ingram, comes in a close second. Alina Riley swimming for St. John's College, has claimed 3rd place. Anna DeVore from St. John's College has claimed 4th place. So a good steady race by all the swimmers. Kind of the key to having a good performance in the 500 yards freestyle. Boatwright took a lead early, didn't take a commanding lead, but managed to have that lead hold up throughout most of the race. So congrats to her, and we still have 2 more heats to go here in the 500-yard freestyle. And that will do it. You see the official results there. And we will move right along to heat number 2. And for heat number 2, we have a full pool. So you're about to see 4,000 yards of freestyle if you combine all these swimmers. You saw the lane assignments. Let me just give those to you again. Connie Benson, St. Mary's Ryken, is swimming in lane 1. Gabby Bertozzi from Bishop Ireton, swimming in lane 2. Reagan Lundgren from Bishop Ireton is swimming in lane 3. Maggie Cosgrove from the Academy of the Holy Cross is swimming in lane 4. Madeline Williams, the freshman, is having a good night. She's from Bishop O'Connell, and she is swimming in lane 5. Andrea Gerber from Elizabeth Seton, swimming in lane 6. Molly Hamer from PVI, swimming in lane 7. And Danielle Bouchard, who is from St. Mary's Ryken, she's swimming in lane 8. And at this point, I have to apologize again for the difficulty we're having with our cameras and getting to cover the whole pool. We've got our finish line camera still up. And you see a lot of the swimmers now making the turn in this second heat of the girls' 500-yard freestyle. I also mentioned a little bit earlier that several of these high schools competed last weekend in the National Catholic High School Championship up in Baltimore. 2-day event. A lot of preliminary heats on Saturday and a lot of finals on Sunday. And among the girls' teams that were up there in Baltimore competing, they included our Lady of Good Counsel, who had a great championship. They finished in 4th place. There were 21 girls teams competing at the National Catholic High School Championship. Our Lady of Good Counsel, the girls team, finished 4th. St. John's College High School finished 6th, very close. Academy of the Holy Cross was in 7th place. Bishop O'Connell took 8th place. So great WCAC representation in the top 10 for girls swim and dive up in the National Catholic High School Championship. Also swimming in Baltimore, Elizabeth Seton was up there, and Bishop Ireton was up there. So those swimmers that you see tonight from those schools on the girls' side, they're going from one high-energy championship event to the next. You can see we are a little more than halfway through this 500-yard event. Maggie Cosgrove from the Academy of Holy Cross has built up a pretty good lead. Like so much else in the 500-yard events, you have to see if it can hold up. And you see some of the swimmers are now getting past their 11. They're starting their 11th lap. And there you see Maggie Cosgrove in lane 4, the leader. She is now finished with the first 14 lengths of this event. And again, a comfortable lead. You know, many of these swimmers, because swimming is one of the sports that a lot of the competition throughout the year will take place outside of their school team. Many of them are on summer pool league teams. They might also be going to a lot of swim camps and competing each other that way. So I think it's fair to say there's something of a swimmer community in the DMV, and a lot of these high school student athletes that are on different schools teams might be on the same neighborhood pool in the summer, or they know each other from various other types of competition. So very spirited affair. And Maggie Cosgrove now will try to finish off a very strong heat for her. Amanda Williams from Bishop O'Connell is currently in second place, but Cosgrove has a very big lead as she comes in here for the finish. And so heat 1 goes to Maggie Cosgrove. Just under 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Good performance. Madeline Williams will try to hang on to second place. She is facing a stiff challenge from Reagan Lundgren from Bishop Ireton. So we'll see if Williams can make second place stand up in this heat. And Madeline Williams managed to hold off and finish in second place. Reagan Lundgren very close behind her in third place. And in fourth place, you just saw Molly Hamer from PVI reach the wall. So half the field is in, but the heat goes to Maggie Cosgrove. And once this finishes up, we will be on to our third heat in the girls' 500-yard freestyle, which, based on the seeding times, has the potential for some close competition for some of the places. We also have 8 swimmers in that heat, and a lot of opportunities for some competition. And that does it for the second heat. Congrats to all those swimmers on the 500-yard finish, 500-yard freestyle. Cosgrove takes first. And we will move right along now to heat 3. Reminder, all heats are final heats. The order of finish in the championship is determined by your time in your heat. There are no preliminaries, and then later on finals. There are a lot of swimmers, there are a lot of schools, there are a lot of events, and this is a one-night event, so the only way to make it work is to have all heats be finals. Let me give those lane assignments again. Meredith Bacon, Bishop O'Connell in lane 1. Lauren Kozarowski in lane 2 from the Academy of the Holy Cross. Colleen Kincaid, a freshman from Good Counsel, swimming in lane 3. Madeline Donahoe, from Bishop O'Connell, swimming in lane 4. Allison Wade from Lady of Good Counsel, swimming in lane 5. Erica Geronda from Our Lady of Good Counsel, swimming in lane 6. Reagan Foley, swimming from PVI, and she's in lane 7. And Hannah Foley from PVI, who is one of the other freshmen in this third heat, she's swimming in lane 8. So far we have a little bit of a packed up battle for second place. Madeline Donahoe has already staked out a pretty good lead. So last week in Baltimore, Donahoe from Bishop O'Connell, she's up in Baltimore at the championship, swimming in competition, and in this event, she posted a 4-minute 48-second .94 finish. She is a particularly strong finisher over the last 100 yards in this event. And her splits tonight, and she has the lead in this third heat. Donahoe, based on her splits tonight, is on about the same pace as she was in Baltimore last week. Meredith Bacon, who is swimming in that first lane last week in Baltimore, she posted a 5-minute 46.86 second event. And she so far, and she's very steady throughout the race, typically. And so far tonight, her splits just look a little bit behind her pace in Baltimore. But again, as I've said before, it's a 500-yard race. A lot of room for the pace to change. And then also swimming last week, Lauren Kozorowski swam the same event in Baltimore, and she posted a 5-minute 39.38 second. And she, at least in Baltimore, had a very strong finish over the last 50 yards. She definitely took it up a notch or two to put up that time. She is, based on her split so far in this race, she seems to be swimming pretty close to what she did in Baltimore last week. So Donahoe continues to have a strong lead. She's on track to take the heat and win the event. There is a pretty strong competition for second place in this heat. Reagan Foley from PBI in contention for second place right now. And then the three swimmers from Our Lady of Good Counsel, Colin Kincaid, Allison Wade, and Erica Geronda, very much in competition for second place. Allison Wade, one of the many swimmers tonight who will probably be swimming at the next level. I can probably say that about just about every swimmer here. And you see, those are the three Our Lady of Good Counsel swimmers. They have joint head coaches at Our Lady of Good Counsel. The Falcons are led by Jude Luzapone and Beth Silva. It's been a great program and doing a great job coaching. They've been involved with the program now for, at least Jude Luzapone has been involved with the program for more than a decade. So we're down to the last lap. The question is, can Madeline Donahoe hold this commanding lead? And Donahoe has done it. So Donahoe, who got out ahead early, I think she extended the lead a little bit over it. She pretty much matches her time from last week in Baltimore. Just a model of consistency, which is the key to winning a 500-yard freestyle. And she takes the event for Bishop O'Connell tonight. And Reagan Foley from PVI makes her claim, and she's in second place. And third place goes to Colleen Kincaid, Apologize to Colin Kincaid from Our Lady of Good Counsel. So that's the 500-yard event. Great race by everybody. Particularly impressive win from Madeline Donahoe from Bishop O'Connell. Took a lead and would not be challenged. Knocked out of first place by a long stretch. All right, we're going to move on now to the boys' 100-yard backstroke. We're back down to the shorter individual events of the evening. And in this first heat, you see the swimmers entering the pool. We've only got 2 swimmers in the first heat. Timothy Wassel from St. John's College and Sean Ignazik from St. Mary's Ryken. Through the first 25 yards, Wassel has grabbed a lead. He seems to be extending it as that length went on. He's past the turn. So at this point, Wassel has opened up a gap between himself and the only other swimmer in the heat. That is the kind of gap that can be hard to overcome with only with fewer than 50 yards left in the heat. Getting a good look at Timothy Wassel. Backstroke's a little different from some of the other events. It's harder to get a sense of maybe where your opponents are, but Wassel takes the heat. Good performance by Timothy Wassel. A time of 1 minute, 15.30 seconds. And so we're done with heat number 1. For St. Mary's Ryken, Sean Ignaziak finishes second. All right, moving on now. Heat 2, we also had some late scratches. We only got 4 swimmers in the pool. We saw the lane assignments. Just to review those with you. Joel Henderson from DeMatha, swimming in lane number 3. Colin Tyson is in lane... Gavin Foran from DeMatha, who's a freshman, is swimming in lane 4. Colin Tyson from Bishop McNamara has lane 5. And then Josh Hicks from St. Mary's Ryken, swimming in lane 6. We had 2 scratches, so only 4 swimmers in this second heat of the boys' 100-yard backstroke. It's still pretty tight field. We got a close race now. You see the 2 leaders. And Henderson takes it. And Colin Tyson claims second place. So good second heat here in the 100-yard backstroke. And moving on now to the third heat. Also a case where we had a scratch. Let's see if I can give you the lane assignments. We just flashed them up on the screen. Swimming out there in lane 1, Benjamin Rourke from St. John's College. Ryan Owen from PVI, freshman. swimming in lane number 3. Joseph Ienzi from Bishop O'Connell, swimming in lane number 4. His teammate from Bishop O'Connell, John Sullivan, is swimming in lane number 5. Nick Keeler, freshman from A Lady of Good Counsel, swimming in lane number 6. Daniel Babolts from Bishop O'Connell, swimming in lane number 7. And Ryan Krasovich from DeMatha is swimming in lane number 8, as we're now down to the stretch run. And the race goes to Nick Keeler from Good Counsel by less than a half second over Benjamin Warka. Great competitive heat by the two of them. Close third place for John Sullivan. The only unfortunate thing was that Keeler and Ruka were not anywhere near each other in the lane, so they might not have been aware of the drama they were creating during that race. All right, moving on now. Let's go on to Heat 4. We've got a full pool for this one. Boys 100-yard backstroke. Mason Carl is in lane 1 from Good Counsel. Jack Hauser from PVI is in lane 2. Eamon Smith, already a big win tonight. He's in lane 3 from Gonzaga. His teammate from Gonzaga, Ryan Catron, is in lane 4. Lawrence Redmond, also from Gonzaga, is in lane 5. Wolfie Woolard from St. John's College has lane 6. Javier Cheraboga from Bishop Ireton is in lane 7. And Clement Greco, who won one of the events earlier tonight, is in lane 8, and he is swimming for PVI. And it looks like a close race. Give the edge to Redmond as he finishes. He's one of those many swimmers tonight from Gonzaga you can imagine expect to be seen swimming in college. And it does go all 3 top finishers places to Gonzaga. Lawrence Redmond in first, barely beating out Ryan Catron, and then Eamon Smith settles for third. Great heat for the boys 100-yard backstroke, and Redmond takes the event. All right, moving on now. It is the girls' 100-yard backstroke, and in this first heat, we also have only 2 swimmers. Lane assignments just popped up. Erin McKenzie is swimming in lane 3. She's from St. Mary's Ryken. And then in lane 4, Julia Tutz from Bishop McNamara. As the swimmers get through the first turn. Tutz has popped out to a lead. And on this second length, she's doing a good job of pushing that lead and making the gap a little bit bigger. All right, halfway through. This is the first heat. We will have a total of 4 heats for the girls' 100-yard backstroke. So Julia Tutz now built a strong lead over the first part of the race. She now just has to swim steadily and close it out. And she's done it. Julia Tutz takes the first heat in the girls' 100-yard backstroke. Good way to swim a race. Try to get a lead early and then extend it and hold it. And Erin McKenzie will settle for second in this first heat. So, good start to the event. All right, we have 7 swimmers in the pool for heat number 2. Rudy White, freshman from Bishop McNamara. swimming in lane 1. Alicia Waterman is swimming in lane 2, and she is from Bishop McNamara. Meg Bonilla from Bishop Ireton has lane 3. Harley Smith, who is a freshman from Elizabeth Seton, is in lane 4. Zoli Smith from St. John's College is in lane 5. Khalees Wood from Elizabeth Seton has lane 6, and Allison Brown from St. Mary's Ryken is swimming in lane number 7. And we're about halfway through the event. Allison Brown, the swimmer from St. Mary's Ryken, who is swimming in lane number 7 tonight in this backstroke. She also competes in lacrosse and in field hockey. In both those sports, lacrosse and field hockey, she has earned some all-county honors. So she's competing well here tonight at the competition, and the crazy thing is, this is probably not even her best sport. So she's like a lot of the student athletes at the WCAC schools. They often compete in more than one sport. And, that all-around athleticism can be the best way to avoid injury and a lot of other good benefits. So this heat goes to Zoli Smith with a win by a couple of seconds over Harley Smith in second place. St. John's College swimmer Zoli Smith has taken the second heat in the girls' 100-yard backstroke. All right, let's move on now to heat number 3. We have a full pool for this one. And the lane assignments are Kate Murray from Bishop Ireton in lane 1. Samantha Kelly from PVI is in lane 2. Siobhan Chalk from Bishop Ireton has lane 3. Angelina Casamates from Good Counsel has lane 4. Riley Blanton from Bishop O'Connell has lane 5. Anna Rose Cusillas from PVI, lane 6. Carolyn Williams from PVI, lane 7. And Abby Kinsella from Bishop O'Connell has lane 8. Here in the third heat of the girls 100-yard backstroke. Last week up in Baltimore, Angelina Casamates posted a 1 minute 5.02 second time in this event. And she appears to be ahead of that pace tonight in the event. Riley Blanton, also in Baltimore from Bishop O'Connell, posted a 1.05.49, and she seems to be a little bit behind that pace tonight. So the heat goes to Angelina Casamates. Riley Blanton claims second place, and Caroline Williams from PVI takes third place in the heat. Also, we mentioned Riley Blanton, who is only a freshman from Bishop O'Connell. She competed in dive tonight, and she finished 5th. So, strong night for Riley Blanton here at the WCAC Swim and Dive Championship. Let's get into the lane assignments now. We're in Heat 4 of the girls' 100-yard backstroke. And the lane assignments are Claire McNamara from Bishop O'Connell in lane 1. Abby Dodge from St. John's College in lane 2. Lane 3 has Grace Rivas from Elizabeth Seton. Kate Cosgrove from the Academy of the Holy Cross is in lane 4. Maureen Cosgrove from the Academy of the Holy Cross is in lane 5. Sarah Culkin, a freshman from Good Counsel, lane 6. Olivia French from Good Counsel, lane 7. And Keela Brown from St. John's College has lane 8. A week ago, I was at the National Catholic High School Championship. Rivas from Elizabeth Seton swam a 1 minute .80 for a, I think it might have been a school record. Let's see if she can beat that tonight. All right, so the heat and the event goes to Olivia French from Good Counsel, and she's followed by Sarah Culkin, also from Good Counsel. All right, great competition now so far. And that concludes the girls' 100-yard backstroke. And we're going to move on to the boys' 100-yard breaststroke. And in this first heat, and they are underway, we have only 3 swimmers. You saw the lane assignments. Javon Banks from Bishop McNamara is the swimmer in lane 3. And then lanes 4 and 5 have a couple of swimmers from St. Mary's Ryken. Alex Kim is in lane 4, and Devin Posey is in lane 5. Just quickly going back to the last heat we showed you, the girls' 100-yard backstroke with Sarah Culkin finishing second. She competed in the backstroke tonight. I was surprised that she did not swim in the butterfly tonight. She competed last week in Baltimore in the butterfly, and I think if she swims butterfly next year at the WCAC championship, I think she would be among the favorites to win the event. She's very strong in all strokes, and only a freshman at Our Lady of Good Counsel. But we're in the boys' heat now, and it is the first heat. And Alex Kim grabbed the lead early and then made it stand up. Alex Kim from St. Mary's Ryken, finishing comfortably ahead of his teammate Devin Posey in St. Mary's Ryken. So heat number 1 is done. And let's move on now to heat number 2 in the boys 100-yard breaststroke. Again, we do not have a full pool. Only 5 swimmers competing. Justin Pasqua from PVI is swimming in lane 2. Matt Grillo from Bishop Ireton is in lane 3. Peter Spearman, among the leaders right now, from Bishop Ireton, swimming in lane 4. In lane 6, Chris Lucian from DeMatha. And then in lane 7 from Our Lady of Good Counsel, Ethan Rambo swimming. So strong competition here for first place in this race. 4 of the 6 swimmers are still fairly tightly packed, and we could get a late push from somebody. Here in heat number 2, looks like it's coming down to Spearman and Grillo from both from Bishop Ireton. And Spearman holds on to take the heat. Strong heat by all 5 swimmers in it. And that heat goes to Spearman. All right, heat number 3 now. Boys 100-yard breaststroke. We've got a full pool, and the lane assignments are Christopher Traherne from Our Lady Good Counsel. Christian McLaughlin from PVI is in lane 2. PJ Emmerich has lane 3 from DeMatha. From Gonzaga in lane 4, Peter Cashmere. From PVI in lane 5, Han Rue. From Bishop Ireton in lane 6, Ben Nethery. From Bishop O'Connell in lane 7, Joel Meckley. And in lane 8, from Bishop McNamara, Charles Law Williams. Law Williams, one of the many freshmen competing tonight, doing very well. And in heat 3, we had Devin McKibben, who's from Bishop O'Connell. He also competed in dive tonight, and he took 3rd place. So congrats to Devin McKibben on having a strong night in swim and dive. And in a close 3rd heat, Peter Cashmere from Gonzaga takes the win. PJ Emmerich from DeMatha takes 2nd place. So a strong heat by everyone. after this, have the fourth heat, and it will be the final. This is the last individual event of the evening for the boys team. There you see the results. Kashmir from Gonzaga. And a tight race takes first place in the third heat. All right, we are now on to the fourth heat. And in this fourth heat, Xavier Fuller from DeMatha has lane number 1. Justin Hill from Gonzaga, lane number 2. Richard Gentry from Gonzaga, lane number 3. Paul Kinsella from Bishop O'Connell has lane number 4. Miguel Davis has lane number 5 from St. John's College. Michael Penafiel from St. John's College has lane number 6. Tyler Lentine, freshman from Bishop O'Connell, is in lane number 7. And Christophe Tenney from A Lady of Good Counsel is swimming in lane number 8, and a very tight race here in the fourth heat. It will come down to whoever can make a late push, I think. Kinsella and Davis contesting for the lead. And the heat and the event goes to Paul Kinsella by about a half second over Miguel Davis. So Kinsella from O'Connell takes the heat. Davis from St. John's College settles for second. And then another incredibly tight race. Richard Gentry from Gonzaga takes third place by about a small margin as you can. All right, well done. And now we're going to move on to the girls' 100-yard breaststroke. And in this first heat, we only have 3 swimmers. Danielle Bouchard from St. Mary's Ryken is swimming in lane 3. Deha Stevenson is swimming in lane 4 from Bishop McNamara. Erin Soul is from St. Mary's Ryken, and she is swimming in lane 5. And it is the 2 St. Mary's Ryken swimmers who in this heat at the moment have taken a lead. Still very tight, slight edge right now to Danielle Bouchard as the swimmers get to the halfway point. Stevenson in second, and Soul from Soul in second, and Stevenson from Bishop McNamara is trailing behind in third place in this first heat. And now we're coming to the stretch run, and Bouchard appears to have opened up a little bit of a lead on her teammate Soul, so she can make it stand up over the last length of the pool. Erin Soul closes the gap, but will it be enough? And the heat goes to Bouchard. Danielle Bouchard from St. Mary's Ryken takes the heat over her teammate Erin Soul from and Stevenson settles for third place. So good start to the 100-yard breaststroke in the girls' events. Heat number 2, a full pool for the girls' 100-yard breaststroke. Let me quickly give you those lane assignments again. Kai Shanklin from Elizabeth Seton is in lane 1. Grace McCaffrey from Bishop Ireton has lane 2. Roselle Bugatti, freshman from the Academy of Holy Cross, she is in lane 3. Taylor Washington from Elizabeth Seton, lane 4. Bella Obioha from Bishop Ireton is in lane 5. Victoria Fawn in lane 6 from Bishop O'Connell. Sarah Garska from PVI has lane 7. And Brittany Mannion from St. Mary's Ryken is swimming in lane 8. We've got 3 freshmen swimming in this heat, so as I've said many times before, Great performance from the freshman here tonight. Last week up in Baltimore, Bella Obioba from Bishop Ireton posted a 1:20.85 in this event. She seems like she's close, but maybe not quite at that pace tonight. And Kai Shanklin in Baltimore posted a 1:26.19. She seems behind that pace, but the heat goes to Razel Obogati from the Academy of Holy Cross. A comfortable win in the heat for her over Bella Obioha from Bishop Ireton. So that's heat number 2 in the girls' 100-yard breaststroke. You see all the results there. And moving right along, heat number 3. Also a full pool. And the 8 swimmers are Abigail Sproul from Bishop O'Connell, Adriana Imez from Bishop McNamara, and then in lane 3, Rachel Jacobs from PVI. In lane 4, Lindsay Bays from Bishop McNamara. In lane 5, Raja Gusam, who took an event earlier tonight. She's swimming in lane 5 from Elizabeth Seton. For in lane 6, Sarah David from Bishop O'Connell. Lane 7, Maria McCleary from the Academy of Holy Cross. And Sarah Chopko is swimming from Bishop Ireton, and she is in lane 8. As the swimmers have made the turn, we're into the second half of this heat. Sarah David, last week up in Baltimore, swimming the same event. She posted a 1:18.34. She seems to be doing better than that tonight. Raja Gusam from Elizabeth Seton posted a 1:18.26. She's about at the same pace. Maria McCleary, a 1 minute 18.94 last week in Baltimore. She's a little behind that. And we're getting down to the finish. And Adriana Imez takes the heat. Sarah David settles for second. And Raja Gusam is in third place. So great performance by all 8 swimmers. And that finishes up the third heat. We'll go on now to the fourth heat. And we again, in this fourth heat, have a full pool. And the swimming lane assignments are Emma Mitchell from St. John's College in lane 1, Lauren Vanell from PVI in lane 2. In lane 3, Carolyn Holloway from the Academy of the Holy Cross. In lane 4, Shelby Ball from St. John's College. In lane 5, Bridget Kim from Good Counsel. In lane 6, Hannah Owens from Good Counsel. In lane 7, Allison Wade from Good Counsel. And in lane 8, Sarah Louigard from St. John's College. And we are about halfway through. The leader pack is tight in this race. Shelby Ball, last week up in Baltimore, posted a 1 minute 6 seconds 72.72 finish. She's really on about that same pace. And Bridget Kim posted a 1 minute 7.76 pace, and she seems to be over behind that tonight. And at the finish, it is Shelby Ball hanging on, winning the event for St. John's College. Bridget Kim, second place, barely edging out Hannah Owens in third place. And there you've got your finals, and that wraps up all the individual events. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm Michael Shea, and this is Arlington Independent Media. Have a great night.